Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to all of our followers. My name is Stephanie Matson. I'm Associate Attorney here at Beltran, Brito, to my right.
Hi, my name is Michelle Beckshire. I, too, am an Associate Attorney here at the office of Beltran, Brito,
So today we're going to be talking about really a complex topic, which is the H1B visa. It's complex in that it has a lot of intricacies. We want to give you sort of a generic overview today, and really most importantly, there was a new announcement with immigration recently, which was yesterday, and so we want to talk about what developments have changed, what things have changed, and what to expect in the future.
What that's going to mean for the 2019 H1B. Right?
Perfect. So essentially, the H1B, first and foremost, it's a mechanism for a foreign worker in order to be able to work in the United States. This foreign worker has to be an individual with at least a 4-year university degree or its equivalent in work experience, right?
Right. So what we can help with is the process of seeing if your work experience is the equivalent of a bachelor's degree here in the United States. So we would request an evaluation, a credential evaluation, to determine whether you meet those requirements of the equivalent of a bachelor's degree in USCIS's eyes.
And truly, Michelle, first and foremost, who is eligible, right? What do they need?
Right. So on top of either having that bachelor's degree, a master's degree, right, or the equivalent of a degree, what we're looking for is first a job offer, right? So you need to have a company who's willing to sponsor you for the process, because at the end of the day, the company is the one who is requesting that you come work here for them. So they're the ones who are really applying for this visa, right? So once you do have a company who's willing to sponsor you for this visa, we need to then evaluate whether this is really a professional occupation. So what does a professional occupation mean, right?
It's complex. That could be its own video, right? But on the surface, it's essentially a job that does require some sort of 4-year degree or equivalent, because it's complex in the sense that someone who doesn't have experience in this area or education in this area really can't do this type of work.
Right. So they're looking at either, it's a really complex occupation, that it's unique, or that at least it requires a 4-year degree.
Right.
Okay.
And the third point.
Right. So after that, then we're going to go and look at the salary and the conditions of the work. So what we're doing for this process is really we want to evaluate, okay, is for this position, are you being paid the salary that other workers in this field and in your geographic area are being paid? And that's very important when we're doing this process and we're requesting the LCA.
Right. So one frequent question that we receive is essentially, what kind of company is going to be the one that's going to be sponsoring me for this H1B visa, right? And usually it's going to be a company that is established. We want a company that's been established at least for 1 year so we can show their tax returns for the past year and show that there's really movement. The other thing is really that this is a company that's in need of someone like you that has your experience, it's in this field, right? And really the most important thing is, I always get asked, does it have to be a big company? Everyone's imagining Disney style,
thousands
huge,
of employees, right? And no, the reality is it doesn't have to be. It can be a smaller company. The idea is just to show that this company really has a need for a worker like you.
Right. So the other big thing about the H1B is the lottery system. So Michelle, how many visas
so many
for you?
questions, right, about the lottery. So there's a bachelor's lottery, and that's $65,000. Okay, and then there's a master's lottery that's $20,000.
Right. So essentially, those are going to be given, and individuals with a master's degree are going to be subject to certain conditions. So in order to be considered an individual who gets into this lottery that's only for master's degree, the master's degree has to have certain qualities.
Right. So exactly. So there's a few things that we have to evaluate. So one is it a U.S. master's degree, right? So is it a U.S. university? That's the first thing. Right. And then not only does it have to be a U.S. university, but it also has to be an accredited school. Okay, so it needs to be accredited, and it needs to either be a not-for-profit or a public university. So that's something that you can always verify with the school, whether it is a not-for-profit or it is a public school, and whether it's accredited or not.
So given this lottery, given that it's really so limited, essentially only roughly 30% of applicants are going to be chosen into this lottery. Because it's so limited, immigration opens this option in order to apply for the H1B visa on April 1st of every calendar year. So really the time to apply is you want to get everything in by April 1st. The reason we point this out is because now January, latest February is really the time when you want to start contacting your attorney and you really want to start working towards this process.
Right? Exactly. So USCIS starts accepting applications on April 1st. Technically, it can be received after that date, but just to ensure that it's going to be accepted by USCIS, we want to make sure that they get there on April 1st.
Because once they're over the lottery, they're going to close that up, right?
Exactly.
They're going to close that date. Exactly. And if you're submitting for April 1st, essentially the start date of work is going to be 1st of October of that same year.
Right. So the idea is you're applying on April 1st for your start date of October 1st. So for this year, for example, there were a few delays in that because premium processing, a service that provides a response in 15 days, was actually
eliminated essentially for the year.
Exactly, for the year. So what that means is sometimes there are people who are still waiting for responses on their cases after that October 1st date. And so what that means is just you wouldn't be able to start on October 1st, but you would be able to start once your case is approved, whatever date that is.
Right. So the visa, it's important because it can be for a period of 3 years, and then it could be extended for a period of another 3 years for a maximum of 6. So what's important there is essentially if you have if you're with a company and you want to go ahead and transfer to a different company, that is an option for you.
Right, that is an option. At any time during the process, you can go ahead and you can transfer to a different company. Of course, the company would have to be willing to sponsor you for the H1B. However, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to ask immigration's permission. So you're going to have to file a transfer with USCIS, request that they allow you to transfer. So at that time, they're going to evaluate, were you really working for this company that you said you were working for? So they can ask you, for example, for pay stubs or W-2s, and then they're going to evaluate, okay, what position will you have with this new company, and they'll take a look at that.
So that brings us really to what has changed. So as of yesterday, there was a substantial change in how this process works with DHS. So there were really two main changes that they highlighted in this announcement, right?
Right, and this is just really new. There's very little information that has been published about this, and I mean, it's just a matter of yesterday. So
that's it. We don't know much, but we're going to present to you and we're going to talk to you about what we do know for now.
So for now, what we've been told is that there's going to be two changes, right? The first change is that there's going to be an electronic registration system. Okay, so what that will mean is that employers will have to first register with this electronic system in the lottery, and then they'll be told whether they're chosen or not, whether their applicant is chosen or not, before actually submitting the documentation, the evidence to immigration. Right. So that's going to be a big change. The good thing is that that's not going to happen this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's going to be for next year.
Okay. So they're still working on bugs and seeing how the system works. So for right now, we don't have to worry about that. Right. What we do have to keep in consideration though is the second change, which will be effective this year. Okay. So that second change is the way that they're actually going to be picking the lottery.
Right. So essentially in the past, basically it was you have your regular bachelor's degree cap and you have your master's degree cap. So essentially before they would choose everybody who's for the master's degree, and then once they filled up this quota for your master's degree, everyone else with a master's degree would go to the main pot.
Who wasn't selected.
Right? Everyone who wasn't selected would go to this main pot, and then from that pot they would choose the rest of the 65,000. So you had a chance of choosing either master's degree applicants or bachelor's degree applicants in this lottery.
Right.
So the way they've changed is essentially, first we go to the very big pot. The very big pot is going to have every single applicant, master's degree and bachelor's degree applicants. They're going to choose their 65,000. After that, master's degree applicants that were not chosen go to the smaller master's degree pot, and then they're going to go ahead and choose from there the rest of the 20,000.
Right. So what USCIS is saying that this is actually going to raise the chances for master's applicants of up to 16%, maybe around 5,000 workers. That's what's projected for this year.
So while the overall number of the visas that's going to be given throughout the calendar year is the same, essentially more master's degree applicants are going to be getting this.
Right.
visa.
You have a higher chance. Exactly.
Right. Which is in line with current policy in immigration, which is they want the most qualified applicants, the most highest paid, the most skilled workers here in the United States.
So it'll be really interesting to see how this plays out for this year. But it looks like it'll significantly help U.S. master's applicants.
Yes. I believe that's it for now. Any other changes, we're going to be able to be here and contact you, and we're going to tell you everything as it transpires.
Right.
Feel free to contact us and consult us with your H1B visa questions. You can reach us on social media at Beltran Brito LLP. On YouTube, we're Beltran Brito Casamayor, and see us next time.